Hello there. Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing today? Wonderful. I am so excited about our meeting today. And I want to just share with you some things that are in my heart concerning credit. Um, I've prepared a presentation and I want you to get the most out of this presentation. So get your pens, get your paper so that you can write down anything. And actually, we have some QR codes toward the end. And if you want to, you will be able to scan those and actually gain some information if you need it. Yes, I want to share this. Okay, I believe you can see my screen now. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. We are going to start. Okay, there we go. This presentation is for financial education only. It's not legal advice. Results may vary by individual. No credit score increase is guaranteed. We comply with the Fair Credit Reporting Act, FCRA, and we do not advise identity misrepresentation. Everything we do is legal, ethical, and compliant with federal consumer protection laws. We educate, advocate, and we assist. We do not promise miracles, we teach process. And that's what I want you to see today. I want you to see that there is a process, there are steps that you can take to improve your credit and to improve your life. All right. Today is the first day of the rest of your life. Mark Twain said it like this. He said, the secret to getting ahead is just getting started. So many people sit on the sidelines waiting for a better opportunity, waiting for a better day, waiting for a better time, and that day and that time never comes. So if you want to get things on a right track, there's no better time than the present. Just do it. Absolutely, just do it. I remember seeing something a couple of days ago. It was this guy who was at this pool, and one of the things that you do is you hold on to this thing and you jump out on the ledge, and then you let go, and then you go into the water. And that's a part of the process. He got all the way there, saw how the process worked, got all strapped up, and got on the thing, and he froze and wouldn't go forward. He tried it several times and he backed up and tried again and backed up and tried again and backed up. He was terrified. But instead of just getting out of line and going back down and starting, on with his day, he stayed on the ledge. And unfortunately, he went out there threatening to go and he slipped. And so he ended up letting go and falling into the water anyway. But the funny part about it is, everybody laughed about him slipping and falling into the water. But the great thing about it is that he did it. He was no longer on the sideline just watching. What is the worst that can happen if you actually fix your credit? What is the worst that can happen? You get a great score and get lower interest. That's the worst that can happen. Start today. That's one of the things that a lot of times those of us who read the Bible, many people talk about how Peter walked, jumped out on the boat and he sank. But Peter was the only one that had a testimony that he actually walked on water. Before he sank, he walked on water. Everybody in the boat was just watching. But Peter jumped out of the boat and began to walk. And so I want you to get out of the boat and start walking on water. Today is not about finishing everything, but today is about starting. And you can do that today. Do Right Business Solutions. We're credit, literacy, and financial freedom. I have it wrong here. I think they cut off my other letters. We repair, we restore, and we rebuild. And that is our whole mission, is to repair, restore, and to rebuild. Allow me to tell you personally about my journey. Before I teach you anything, I want you to know that I'm not speaking from some book or some thing that somebody else taught me. This is my own life's journey. I'm not speaking from theory. I'm speaking from my personal experience. There was a time in my life when my credit score was 580, which is considered bad. It is considered poor. It is not even fair. It is bad. And I went from a bad credit score to now over 800. And I did it not by magic, not by winning the lottery or any kind of magical thing. I did it systematically, step by step. And this is why I'm here to try to tell you how to do it. And now I went from going to buy cars and paying 20% interest, which is absolutely asinine, to now going in the car lot and saying, hey, this is what I want, and I'm not paying anything down, and I want 0% interest. And I can get it every time because I have positioned myself in a different space, and it yields benefits when you do that. All right? Fixing credit is not about money. A lot of people make that misconception. Fixing credit is not about money, but knowledge. It is about knowledge, and knowledge is power. Credit is leverage. You can leverage credit, whether you have money at all or not. If you have good credit, you don't have to have good money. You don't have to have a lot of money. I'm sorry. If you have good credit, you don't have to have a lot of money. But it gives you leverage, and you can have access to a lot of things that perhaps you never thought about, because I never had. All of my years, I never knew the benefits that come with having great credit. We're talking about truth, education, and empowerment. The biblical foundation, and that's my favorite book in the whole world. And it says, Hosea 4:6, that my people, this is God talking. He says, my people are destroyed. Look at that word, destroyed for lack of knowledge. Financial ignorance is expensive. Knowledge creates freedom. One of the things I want you to see here in this particular text, God takes ownership of this group of people. He says, my people are literally destroyed for what they don't know. Oh my God. They are destroyed for what they do not know. And I would like to say that to my people who are listening to this today. Many are destroyed. Your credit is destroyed. Your finances are destroyed. Your bank is destroyed for that which you do not know. Not because you're not a good person, and not because you're ignorant, not because you don't care about yourself or about your credit. It's just that you don't know. And so somebody said, what you don't know won't hurt you, but yeah, it will. What you don't know will indeed hurt you. And so I want to tell you about that today. I want to, at the end of this presentation, I want you to know, and I want you to have the equipment necessary to move forward. So what is credit? Credit is not money. Get that out of your mind. Because a lot of times when you think about having good credit, you think you got to have a lot of money. No, that is incorrect. Credit is not money. Credit is not morality. Credit is just simply data, and data controls access. Your credit profile tells lenders how risky you appear. Do they pay their bills back? If I loan them this money, will they pay me back? The likelihood of them doing so is what your credit score represents. If you never pay your bills on time, if you never pay your bills at all, then you basically tell your creditors that you are not trustworthy. You're not worthy of them trusting you with a loan. Okay? And so we want to get to the point where our word is our bond. If you loan me this money, I promise I'll pay you back. I'll pay it back when you tell me to pay it back and how you tell me to pay it back. That's what you want to have your basically your legacy, and credit history and your credit score is your legacy basically, is how well you do with your money. Okay? It is the data that controls access. Your credit profile tells lenders about your life, and you don't want to have a negative stigma attached to your name. Trust me, you do not. Your credit tells your lenders about your payment history, about the utilization, the length of history, your credit mix, and your um, new credit. And let me see, this right here is a wheel that basically tells you the percentage, the basic and the most um, biggest part of the pie chart is your payment history. That is primo. You can even pay your bill 20 days late and still not be affected. Once you get to 30 days, your credit is going to be affected. If you're over 30 days being late, your credit is going to be affected. Okay? That is the biggest part of your pie chart. So you want to make sure that you pay your bill and do not go over the 30 days. Okay? The next largest portion of your credit is the amount of utilization, which just simply means that if you have a credit card for $1,000 and you're using 900 of that, that is considered high utilization. And lenders do not want to lend you money if your credit utilization is high. They don't want to keep giving you money if you're not paying it down. Okay? I just did something here. Okay? Let me go back. And so that's the second biggest part. So if you have a credit limit of $1,000, I'd like to stay under 10%. Some people say 30. You can get funding under 30, but I think the sweet spot is under 10%. You look amazing to the creditors if you keep your utilization under 10%. And so if you have a credit card of only 1,000, then you spend $90 or less. Okay. I had a credit card company recently just give me, I think, a really low balance. All of my credit cards are really high balance, and this one gave me a $2,000 limit. And I told them it really isn't worth having that card because the moment that I put something on there, if it's a business expense, it's going to cost more than $2,000. Or if I don't want to pay it all at that one time, my utilization is going to be extremely high. So I just don't use that card very often. The next portion of the pie chart is 15% of your length of history. How long have you been using credit? Sometimes one of the wonderful things that a lot of people have done is put good credit in their children's names. And so once they actually come of age, they actually have years of good credit in their name. And that's always a great thing when you're talking about credit. It sets you up for winning. Then the other 20% is your credit mix, whether you have loans or whether you have credit cards or there's new credit. Okay. That makes up the whole entire scope of your credit report. Okay. My Score IQ. If you are wanting to check your credit score, You can scan this. Knowledge is great information. Scan this QR code right here, and you can check. It'll give you your score from all three bureaus, and it will only cost you $1 for the first 7 days. You want to make sure that you're constantly keeping tabs on your credit. If I do your credit report, if I'm trying to fix your credit, I require you keeping this during the duration, because periodically we check in to see, is your score going down? Is some things falling off of your credit report and all that. So that's one of the things that we require you to just actually keep that. It's only $34.99 per month, but the first 7 days is free. So you can get your report right now for free. I mean, basically $1, I'm sorry. A personal truth. I, Denise Robinson, am considered a double minority. In this world, I am considered a double minority. I am Black and I am a female. And both of them could be things that will offer a negative stigma in this nation or in this business world. And many of us were not taught, where I come from, about credit. I never heard anything about my family telling me about the importance of a FICO or any of those things. And so I want to change that information going into the next generation. Stop leaving your children with negative information. They know everything about the housewives of Atlanta, but they don't know anything about their credit score. They know everything about every basketball, football, hockey team, can give you stats on all of them, but they do not know what their FICO is. That's not a good heritage to leave behind. Let's start educating the next generation. Who am I? I am Denise Robinson. Yes, I'm a financial literacy strategist. Strategizing. It takes a strategy to go from 580 to over 800. It takes work and it takes a strategy to actually do that. And so that's one of the things that I do. I'm a strategist. I help you as a consumer, and I also help you to become independent in your finances. And I'm a consumer of my own product. I've walked this out. I know that it works, okay? I am a testimony, living, breathing, walking, talking testimony of how to go from one extreme to the next. Why do I do this? A lot of times we get information and we hold it to ourselves. I don't want to share this with nobody. They're going to think this about me. They're going to think that. But one of the things that I have come to know, that when I learn something, I want everybody to know it. I want it to bless everybody. Because number one, he who has the knowledge has the power. Those of us that have knowledge, we have the power. And I believe financial literacy is a form of empowerment. Too many people are paying more than they should for items. Why pay 15% on a car or a loan when you can get 2%? That's thousands of dollars of difference. And I'll show you about that a little bit later. What you don't know, ladies and gentlemen, will hurt you. What you don't know will indeed hurt you. Why credit matters. Credit controls access, as I said earlier. And I was never taught about credit. Perhaps many of you were never taught. You never heard it talked about in your house, around the dinner table. But I bet some of you who are listening probably have had a denial. You went in to apply for a loan or a car, and you've had a denial. That hurts. Not only it hurts twice, because first of all, they pulled your credit, and that further hurts your credit. But then it also hurts you because you can't get what you wanted. Over here on the right is the wonderful things that credit affords you. It affords you the luxury homes. It affords you the luxury cars. And these people probably are not paying as much for this Royce, this Mercedes Benz, as some of you are paying for your Toyota or your Prius. If your interest rate is astronomical, you're probably paying more for your car than this person is paying for this Mercedes. That is horrible. And I hope to get you to the position where you can change that. Did you know that if your credit score is 730 or more, your payment for this luxury car could be $368 per month? If your credit score is 599, you can get a car, but you're going to pay $514 a month for that same car. The same car, ladies and gentlemen, the same car. A difference of almost $10,000. That's why you say you can't afford stuff. That's why you say you can't afford things, because you're paying twice for everything that you pay for. Why don't you change that? Change that, because, why don't you change that? Let's go further. Now we're talking about real estate. This particular home, let's just say it's $325,000. At 8.5% interest, your monthly cost is going to be, what happened there? I'm sorry. Your monthly cost is going to be $2,499. The same house at 15% interest, your monthly payments will be approximately $4,111. The total cost throughout the duration of the loan is going to be $580,000 more for the same house. Ridiculous, right? Would you rather pay almost $2,500 a month, or would you rather pay $4,000 a month? I think I know the difference. I think I know the answer. The big truth